Many years ago, in the beating heart of Benin City, there lived a woman named Mama Flora, a woman whose heart held two worlds at the same time: love and bitterness. She had two daughters, two girls born from different fathers, raised under the same roof, but fed love like food that never reached everyone's plate. Adijua, the elder, quiet, soft, gentle as morning dew. Her father died when she was 4, and her mother's grief slowly hardened into something sharp, something that cut Adijua daily. Years later, Mama Flora remarried, and from that marriage came Adishawa, beautiful, loud, spoiled, and adored. Her laughter filled the compound like celebration, while her elder sister walked quietly in the shadows behind her. The difference between them was like day and night standing side by side. Adijua, soft-spoken, humble, careful; Adeshawa, bold, stubborn, loud enough to drown the world. Mama Flora worshipped her last child. She gave her the best clothes, the biggest meals, the sweetest praises, leaving Adijua to swallow the ache of being forgotten. Adijua, Mama Flora would snap, "Can't you be more like your sister? See how she shines? You always looking like an old woman." And Adijua, even though her chest tightened inside, would only smile, because she already knew her place. She had learned to keep silent. Even when silence burned, the men who changed things as the girls grew older. Adeshawa's beauty became her crown and her dagger. She carried herself like the world owed her sweetness. She wanted expensive things. She wanted wealth, and she made sure everyone knew it. But Adijua was content with her teaching job at Nosby School, her few church friends, and the peaceful simplicity of her life. Then she met Nosag and everything shifted. He was calm, respectful, hardworking. He listened when she talked, picked her up from work, brought her roasted corn without being asked. A good man, in the purest way. But the day he came to visit Mama Flora wearing a simple shirt and driving an old Toyota Camry, the woman's face squeezed like she'd seen bad luck walk in. "So this is a man?" she asked, her eyes slicing through him. "This is who you bring home after all my suffering?" "Mama, he's a good man," Adijua whispered, "and he loves me." Mama Flora hissed, "Love does not cook soup. Love does not pay rent, my friend. Mary sends not love." That day, Adishawa mocked her without mercy. "Sister Adijua, so this is your husband? He looks like someone's driver. I just hope he can buy you one wrapper every year." But Adijua stayed silent because she knew her silence hurt pride more than arguing ever would. The wedding that broke and healed when the wedding came. Adijua kept it small, simple, graceful, white and blue ribbons in a tiny church hall. Friends, family, peace. Mama Flora arrived late, frowning like she had been forced. Adishawa arrived glowing in gold lace, stealing attention as if she was the bride. They sat together whispering, "She married a poor man. Even his shoe is cheap. See, the wedding car rust everywhere." But Adijua walked down the aisle smiling softly, because for her, marriage wasn't noise, it was safety. And Noseg was safety. After the wedding, they moved into a humble two-bedroom apartment. Life was simple, but life was sweet. Noseg worked day and night as a tech expert, typing away on his laptop. Adijua taught at a private school, her purpose shining from her. Then 4 years later, everything changed with a single envelope, the golden invitation. On Thursday afternoon, Adijua came home carrying a shiny gold envelope that smelled of perfume and pride. She opened it slowly, though she already knew. Inside, the words sparkled like a trophy. "You are cordially invited to the wedding ceremony of Miss Adeshawanmer." Oh, as the union of wealth and love below it was a handwritten note that cut deeper than any knife. "Dear Sister Adijua, please come early. I would love you to see what a real wedding looks like." Her hands trembled, her chest burned. After all these years, it was still a competition she never signed up for. When Noseg came home, she simply handed him the card. He read it, smiled, looked at her. "Are you going?" "I don't know," she whispered. If I go, she will humiliate me. If I don't, she will say I'm jealous. Nosek held her hand gently. Then go. Don't hide. You're not a small girl anymore. Let them talk. A person's mouth cannot change the truth. I will go with you, and this time, we will silence them. The day the city stopped at the wedding day arrived hot, bright, blazing like the sun wanted to witness the drama itself. Edo Heritage Event Center glittered like a palace. Expensive cars filled the lot. Photographers swarmed like bees around wealth. Guests whispered, Mama Flora's daughter married a big man. This wedding will reach Sun newspaper. Mama Flora stood at the gate glowing in gold lace, her voice loud enough for the whole state to hear. Ah, my daughter has married a real man, a rich man. God has wiped my tears. When someone asked where Adijua was, she smirked wickedly. She's coming. I hope her husband finds where to park that his old Camry. But 30 minutes later the world seemed to stop. A deep, smooth car horn echoed. People turned. People froze. A sleek black Bentley glided into the compound like royalty arriving. Unannounced, silence swept the crowd. Necks stretched, eyes widened. What? Who came with Bentley? Another person gasped. Ah, look well. It is Adijua, the elder sister who married the poor man. The car door opened. Adijua stepped to Tina. Long emerald gowned hat shimmered like river water under sunlight. Nosek stepped out too calm, tall, elegant in a dark suit. He walked around, opened her door, held her hand like a man who knew his worth. For a heartbeat no one spoke. Even guests inside the hall rushed to the entrance. Then the murmurs began fast and sharp. I thought they said her husband was broke. What kind of car is this? Wait, are we sure this is the same man? And just like that the game changed. Someone said, maybe they borrowed the car. Another one replied, it must be borrowed now. She and her husband went to impress her sister Small. After the wedding, they will return the motor to the owner. When Adishawa saw them, she froze for a moment. She couldn't breathe. Her mother too blinked rapidly, unable to hide her shock. But Adisha quickly recovered from her shock. She tossed her hair back and laughed mockingly. Oh my God. So she borrowed a Bentley just to impress me. My sister can overdo. Shh. I heard her husband works as a driver. It must be his boss car. Her laughter drew the attention of people nearby. Yet she went on louder. Anyway, it is still better than that old Toyota Camry for effort. Mama Flora joined in. At least the man finally dripped something better than that his rusty Camry. God has done it for them. Oh, just make sure you don't scratch your Aramoto because we will not contribute any money for you. However, was the groom had gone completely quiet. The moment he saw no sag, his eyes widened and his throat felt dry. He swallowed hard. He grabbed Adesha Washans and stammered. Wait, I meant, that man, that is my boss. Adeshawa frowned in confusion. Your words? That is my boss, he repeated in horror. That is Mr. Nogor, the CEO of No More Tech, the owner of the company I work for. Adishawa's laughter dried up completely. Stop joking. You mean your CEO? My sister's poor husband? Yes, Osati said shakily. The same man. The one who signs miscellany. Adhara blinked in total confusion. That is impossible. You said your CEO travels with police escorts and has 3 cars. Osin lowered his voice. He's a quiet man. He never shows off, but that is him. Oh God, that is him. On hearing that Adeshwa bust out into moral laughter, she pointed at No Sag up and down as if he was trash. You must be blind because this poor man here can never. Before she could finish, or Sastern shouted, keep quiet, and gave her a sharp slap across her cheek. The sound echoed through the microphone like thunder. Keep quiet before you destroy him. You have no idea what you've just said. Everyone around them froze. J-Sooth groom slapped the bride Sumi and shouted. Another one echoed now because of the bent Leo Wahala don't enter this wedding. Shawa was speechless. She held her cheek in shock. Mama Flora gasped and left her mouth hanging open in that momentum. Nog. walked into the hall silent lion took their seats. Their presence commanded more respect than any speech could ever treat to save the mood by cracking a joke. Now small family misunderstand. He nor but the damage was done. The bride went in with shame while the groom's face remained permanently like a storm. As for Adisa, she sat quietly beside her husband. Her eyes were calm but deep, and she smiled to herself. Every day is not for forgiveness. Some days are for justice. When it was time for the toast, Mosag stood and asked for the microphone in place of his wife, the sister to the bride. His voice was smooth and low, but it carried power that filled the hall. Good day, everyone. Congratulations to us and Adisha. Well, contrary to what you might think, my wife did not come here to take a trophy, and I did not come here to judge. We came because we were invited as family. But since we are all here and we were judged even before Westupton, I would like to say something about pride and humility. A hush fell and Oazi almost peed on himself. Nog continued, I am the CEO of Normal Tech, a complaint I had been secretly working on before I got Marietto my wife. And if there is one thing I built my company on, it is humility. Now there is a tradition we have in my company, an act of humility we call service and character. We believe everyone, no matter their position, should understand the dignity in service. So today, in honor of family and to remind us that pride must always bow to grace, I will offer that same lesson to my dear staff, Mr. Sawsey. The hall went still again. Oaz's mouth fell open. Sir Nagy's voice remained steady for 6 months. Starting next week, you will serve in our company's outreach department as a driver. Your salary and position will remain, but your duty will be service to learn what respect truly means. It isn't punishment. It is education. Thegis gaps collectively. A man at the back whispered driver at his own wedding. This fin sweet pass. African magical. The MC dropped his microphone and stared. Mama Flora's fan fell from her head. Adishawa jumped up and shouted, You can't humiliate my husband like that. Not today. This is my wedding day. Adijua rose and faced her. My dear sister, no one is being humiliated. Your husband will still keep his full salary, but he will learn what it means to serve. For years, you both laughed at people who had less. Maybe this lesson will remind you that no one is to hide or bend. One guest near the staggered until she nearly choked. This one is premium revenge in designer dress. Another one added, Naso, pride. They end inside microphone. Adisha pointed at Adijua angrily. You came here to disgrace me. But Adijua replied calmly, No. I came here because you invited me. You wanted me to see what aerial wedding looks like. Well, I have seen it, and I think I should also teach you something real. Oasi clenched his fist, breathing hard. He looked at his wife, then at his boss, then at the crowd watching like an audience waiting for a verdict. Finally, he sighed. If this is the lesson, then I accept. What? Adwa screamed. Oaz, you can't. Oza looked at her with tired eyes. Enough. Let this end here. I can't lose my job. I agreed to their condition. The crowd burst into shocking. Some people clapped in admiration while others lauded. See how humble he now looks. It is better than some big man. One man said 6 months driver training would not kill him. Another one replied, I wanted to run away to collapse and to scrub her face clean of that public shame. But it was too late. As for Mama Flora, her pride twisted her face and burned her. The wedding went on in uneven rhythm, and people talked in corners about the unusual vow that had been made, and how the bride, who had planned to had been served a betertia. The first morning after the wedding felt as if every street in Benin had been renamed by the new gossip. Thestery of the wedding, where the groom became a driver, turned into hot cake. It was everywhere on social media, in markets, even on radio gossip shows. Did you hear the bride's brother-in-law Medeth groom his company's driver? One woman laughed as she bought tomatoes. She was taught a bitter lesson. Another one said, If you mock people, make sure your mouth has insurance. True to his word, Oasi reported to the Outria office the next Monday morning. He wore a simple shirt and trousers. The staff greeted him with respect, but some couldn't hide their amusement or driver, good morning. No. One of them teased, Oaz smiled and bowed. Morning, let's do work. And just like that, every day for 6 months, he drove the staff whenever they needed to go out for duty's sake. He drove even the lowest staff and learned how to wait in the sun without complaint. His salary never dropped. Booth's heart changed as he began to understand that dignity had nothing to do with cars or clothes. Meanwhile, Adisa struggled to show her face in public. At first, she refused to visit her husband's office. Then she had at church. Then she stopped picking cows from friends who only wanted to hear history again. But even at home, she grew quiet as pride had left her without permission. Until one morning when she's to meet Adua at their family's house. After Mama Flora reconciled with Adua, Adawa fell to her knees. Sister, I'm sorry. I mocked you. I mocked your husband. I thought I was always the better one. But I see now I was the foolish one. Adishua looked at her long and steady. I did not do it to destroy you. At Day Shah. I only did it to remind you that the people you step on today might be the same ones you will bow to tomorrow. Every day is not for forgiveness. Some days are for correction. Adwin nodded amid tears. Will he ever get his respect back? That depends on how you both live after this, Adua replied. Weeks later when the 6 months ended, Nosad called Oaz to his office. You've done well, he said. You've learned something money couldn't teach. Now you can go back to your department as a better man and with an increase. Oaz smiled and bowed his head. Thank you, sir. I will never forget this lesson. That weekend, he and Adeshwe visited Adeshua and her husband at home, and for the first time, the two sisters hugged each other fully from a place of broken pride and reborn respects. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share your thoughts about this story with me in the comments section. What lesson did you learn from this story? Share the story out with your loved ones and give each story a thumbs up. Subscribe to Thishanal for more interesting stories. Thank you and remain blessed.